IShowSpeed just showed the world that his name isn't just for show. It's a statement, a warning, and perhaps now, a legacy in the making. On an ordinary Wednesday afternoon that quickly turned into a viral phenomenon, the 20-year-old streaming sensation set out to settle a playful, yet fiercely competitive debate that had been brewing across the digital landscape. Who is faster, the wildly unpredictable, high-energy gamer known as Speed, or the ever-consistent, smoothie-sipping, cold-shower-loving viral morning routine guru, Ashton? It all started innocently enough. Two influencers from wildly different internet niches, each with their own cult-like following, decided to meet up in the real world for a challenge that felt as spontaneous as it was inevitable. The internet loves a good showdown, and this one had all the ingredients: charisma, tension, memes, and a bit of unexpected humility. The setting? A modest park not far from Speed's streaming set. The grass was damp from the early morning dew that hadn't quite dried in the summer sun, and the breeze was light, carrying with it the buzz of anticipation as both creators sized each other up. There was no stadium, no formal referees, no sponsorship banners flying overhead. Just two internet giants and a 50-yard stretch of land that would soon become the arena of digital legend. They kicked off their shoes, signaling that this wasn't just about clout. This was about proving something primal. Who had the faster feet? Who had the grit, the stamina, the heart to win, not once, not twice, but potentially 3 or even 4 times if necessary? As followers began to flood the live YouTube stream, word spread like wildfire. Within moments, the viewership skyrocketed, peaking at an astonishing 300,000 concurrent viewers, each one glued to their screens, phones in hand, chats exploding with emojis, laughter, and raw hype. As they lined up for the first race, the contrast between the two was almost poetic. Speed, with his youthful bravado, bouncing on the balls of his feet, talking smack with the kind of confidence that only a 20-year-old with millions of followers could muster. Hall, 29, composed but clearly competitive, a former football player, who had built his brand on discipline, routine, and a body that looked carved by early morning push-ups and borderline insane wellness habits. But routines and banana peel ice baths don't necessarily make you fast, and Speed was about to prove that point, again and again. The first race kicked off with a simple go. No starting pistol, no countdown clock, just pure adrenaline and instinct. Speed exploded off the imaginary blocks, his legs pumping with unexpected precision. Hall gave chase, but it wasn't close. Speed pulled ahead and crossed the invisible finish line with a laugh and a look that screamed, "You really thought you had me?" Hall, not one to accept defeat without a fight, demanded a second race. Maybe the grass slowed him down. Maybe his footing was off. Maybe Speed got a head start. The excuses were subtle but implied, as the two agreed to relocate the battleground to a nearby stretch of pavement. Smoother, firmer, and arguably a more neutral playing field. Once again, the crowd watched in anticipation. A different surface. A new chance. But the result? The same. Speed bolted forward with that same explosive energy, leaving Hall trailing behind. The livestream chat erupted. Memes were already being created. One viewer wrote, "This man is faster than my Wi-Fi," while another joked, "Ashton's morning routine didn't prepare him for this kind of smoke." But Hall wasn't done. Not yet. This wasn't just about running anymore. It was about pride, about reputation, about proving to the world, and maybe more importantly, to himself, that he could hang with someone a decade younger, someone known more for yelling at FIFA and barking at his webcam than for raw athleticism. So, he called for a rematch. One more, just one more. Maybe 3's the charm. Maybe, just maybe, Speed would trip, slow down, or get distracted by his own trash talk. The duo lined up again, now both clearly sweating, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. And once again, Speed launched forward like a bullet, arms pumping, legs flying, focus locked. Hall chased hard, but the result was undeniable. Speed crossed the line first for the fourth time that afternoon, and this time he didn't just celebrate, he taunted. In true IShowSpeed fashion, he turned to the camera, to the crowd, and to Ashton Hall himself, and said with full-blown theatrical confidence, "Delete your Instagram." The crowd went wild. The chat practically imploded. That wasn't just a win. It was a burial. But this moment, as meme-worthy, hilarious, and chaotic as it was, also marked something deeper in the ever-evolving world of online fame. It was a clash of internet generations. On one hand, you had Hall, a man who rose to fame through discipline, positive routines, and the kind of stoic, motivational energy that inspired people to wake up earlier, stretch more, and drink green smoothies before 8 a.m. On the other hand, you had Speed, a digital tornado of unpredictable behavior, comedic timing, raw authenticity, and an ability to go viral, whether he's lighting fireworks indoors or losing his mind over Cristiano Ronaldo. Their face-off wasn't just a race, it was symbolic. The structured world of morning meditations and cold showers versus the chaotic, unscripted energy of the Gen Z stream scene. And Speed, chaotic, loud, messy Speed, came out on top. But don't think this was just about running fast. No. This moment spoke to something primal inside all of us. In a world where so many challenges are scripted or staged for views, this felt real. Two men stripped of their brands, their filters, their algorithms, racing barefoot on grass and pavement, surrounded by nothing but the wind and the sound of their own breath. For Ashton Hall, it was a humbling moment. He's built an entire image around optimization, peak performance, and doing the right things, day in, day out. And yet here, in this unfiltered arena, his body simply didn't keep up with Speed's. That's not a flaw. That's just real. And in a way, it made him more human, vulnerable, relatable. And for Speed, this wasn't just a win, it was a declaration that under all the chaos, the theatrics, and the viral moments, there's an athlete there, a competitor, someone who, when the moment comes, can rise to the challenge, and then spike the football with the kind of meme-fueled swagger only he could deliver. But perhaps the most fascinating part of this story isn't just who won, or how many races it took. It's how the internet responded. Within hours, clips of the races were everywhere. TikTok was flooded with slow-motion edits, dramatic commentary, and side-by-side comparisons. Twitter users weighed in, arguing about form, technique, and whether Speed's confidence bordered on arrogance or just pure showmanship. YouTube creators began cutting reaction videos. Hall's fans offered encouragement while Speed's army of loyal followers reveled in the moment, celebrating it like a championship game. And somewhere in the middle of it all, two creators, so different in energy, approach, and audience, found themselves connected through something beautifully human: competition. The need to prove yourself, the courage to risk failure in front of millions, the willingness to laugh, learn, and race again. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, and the sweat cooled on their brows, one couldn't help but wonder what comes next. A rematch? A full-on Speed versus Hall Olympics? Maybe a redemption arc. For Hall, where he trains Rocky style for weeks and comes back stronger than ever. Or maybe this was just a fleeting internet moment. Here today, viral tomorrow, forgotten by next week's drama. But for now, it stands. IShowSpeed won, not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4. He talked the talk, he ran the run, and he left behind a trail of memes, laughter, and the echo of his voice telling his rival to delete your Instagram.